Hello. So we are live, and we're just bringing you back another bit of information around the crypto market. This is the number one place where you come to find out what's going on and really what's moving the markets. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button so that we continue to do more videos like this. AJ, what are you currently thinking about the crypto market? How have you been feeling over the past couple of days regarding what's been going on?
Yeah, well, we've had a nice little relief rally, from that bottom that we've established recently, which was around $17,600. We are currently trading at $20,500. We're seeing a little bit of a nice, relief rally, but is this rally, going to take us back up to 30K? Or is this just going to be another dead cat bounce, which we have seen recently? So a little bit later on, I will go into that and let everyone know what's going on. But as of right now, a relief rally is something that I think Bitcoin does need, and that's what we are seeing as of right now.
Yeah, and there's one thing I haven't actually brought it up. That's not it, but I do just want to quickly go through this. And I think so. What it said was that we will see relief rallies. Now, if we're in a bear market and if it is crypto winter, we have to be aware that we are going to see these big pumps. We're going to see 10% in a day. We're going to see 20% even in one day.
Yeah.
But don't let it fool you. We've got to look at a wider picture because of the past, I think since it was 1929, over the past 20 pumps or biggest one-day pumps, 10 of those had come from being in a bear market. So, you do get massive pumps in a bear market. But I just want to give you a quick overview. What are we looking at this week in the news? Well, there's not really too much. So we're seeing here, we have a bit of news from the UK, a bit of Canada. This is inflation, obviously doesn't affect the markets as much as the US. So not really too much to write home about. Jerome Powell giving a little bit more information coming out later on. I believe that's on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday or Thursday. So watch out for that. Earnings, there's not really much going on this week, I will say. So, this is just, there's not really too much in the stock market. So no one's going to be overly worried. But there are lots and lots of worries about a big recession. So this year is now more likely than not to have a recession. Elevated prices, unanchored price expectations to lower growth.
And just to add on to that will be the first, if we do, enter a recession, this will be, the first time Bitcoin has, been in a recession, because I think, when was the last recession? That was 2009, wasn't it? Was that
I want to say the last one was 2009. And that's kind of when Bitcoin was created, and it was born out of a recession.
Yeah, so it would be nice to see how it's affected within a recession. Personally, for me, I think that there is going to be some more downside, which could take us down to those targets that I have been talking about. But yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out.
No, I agree, because I saw this post, and it was on, I think it's on Twitter or something like this. And obviously it was a bit, obviously it was a Bitcoin maxi, and he was saying, Bitcoin doesn't have an unlimited amount of power to print. Bitcoin doesn't have recessions and stuff, but you can't deny how closely, as a financial asset, it is tied to other financial assets. So I think it will be really interesting for us to go through a bit of a market downturn, because so far there has been a correlation. As much as everybody might like to think that Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation, it hasn't acted that way. And we need to obviously look at the data. Like, I love Bitcoin. I'm going to be a Bitcoin maxi until the end of time. But we can't get away from the news, can we, AJ?
No, we can't.
No. Which is a bit of a shame, I kind of wish we would. But anyway, just a couple more points I want to go into before we have a look at some of the technicals, finding out where that Bitcoin bottom is. So we heard about Solana. They had a vote on Sunday night. And this was, whether they should or shouldn't take over somebody's account, which is actually, and everyone's talking about Solana being super centralized, and this has definitely not helped. So the overview. Solend, which is, look at this, it's a lending platform on the Solana blockchain, as you see here. Total value locked, almost 300 million. pumped up by 10% in the past day. So this protocol was invalidated yesterday's controversial DAO decision to take over its largest user account. So a lending and borrowing protocol on Solana has reversed yesterday's controversial DAO decision to take over its largest user account, as we know. The Solana team put up a governance vote asking to take over a large user loan in order to prevent an on-chain liquidation event. The issue was that an unknown user had held a $108 million stablecoin loan. Centralized. It's on my brain. I'm talking about Solana. It's just on my brain. It's not a good thing. Solana and centralization shouldn't be synonymous, but unfortunately, a lot of people do look at them that way. It was collateralized by $170 million worth of Solana token. Now, one of the issues was that this user in question, he had 95% of Solana deposits on Solend. So, if you're looking to, kind of like take over almost 100% of all of the deposits, that's not going to be good for the protocol. And most importantly, I think that's really not going to be good for people's view of Solana and whether they are like centralized or not. I mean, AJ, do you have any thoughts on this as to like whether Solana is or isn't more decentralized than other platforms? And like, is this governance vote a good or a bad thing?
It is a hard thing to sort of talk about because that is the question. Is it centralized or is it more centralized than it is decentralized? Personally, for me, I don't think I can comment on that as of right now. I'd have to go into a bit more detail into it, but personally, I don't think that them taking over this account would be a very bullish thing for Solana. That's just my opinion as of right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. To be honest with that, and I agree. I think because that is very much like, we don't believe in this guy, so we'll just take over. The whole idea is you are your own bank, you have your own money, you can do anything with your own money, and if someone can come and take that away, just like the government seizing your assets, that is not very bullish. And I think because of this news, we have, the overturning of this decision, we have had a bit of pump in the price of Solana. You can even see it here. We might go into more detail in a second, but up by almost 12% in the past 24 hours. Now, just two final things I want to touch on. Firstly, Meta partners with Balenciaga, Prada, and Tom Brown and launches initial digital fashion marketplace.
It's all hype, isn't it? It's all hype.
I mean, that is exactly my point. There's there's a lot of talk. There is I guess the future where the metaverse could be worth $5 trillion industry by 2030. Well, that is very true. But I just don't believe Meta, they are doing this. Who's to say that Balenciaga won't partner with other people? It's not necessarily an exclusive partnership for life. So, I think this is it is news. It's very bullish in the sense that Meta has a ton of users, billions of users, and if they do bring NFTs and digital fashion to the mass market, that's very good for our space as crypto investors. But do I believe that Meta are going to be the ones who lead the way in future? I personally don't. But that's my little take on that. This is bullish though for NFTs, for online kind of Web3 content. And finally, before we get into the technicals, I'm just going to look at a little bit of fundamental where Bitcoin mints more than 13,000 whole coiners in the past 7 days. This again is a bit more bullish because it kind of shows accumulation at these lower prices. But this is, so I say whole coiners, small wallet addresses, those containing 0.1 Bitcoin or more continue to accumulate Bitcoin at a rapidly increasing rate. So people are buying the dip, guys. People are buying the dip. Look at this. Addresses with less than 1 Bitcoin massively accumulating even as the price goes down. It's just an inverse, almost an inverse function of one another where you're just seeing that, that number of addresses keep going up as the price goes down. people have a strong belief in the future of the Bitcoin network and the value of the currency. We are those guys, and we see the same with less than 0.1. I'm sure some of you guys have been trying to accumulate as much as possible. Every paycheck is just going straight in there, as much as you can anyway. But this is really, really bullish. Now, I like this. Obviously, less than 1 Bitcoin or less than 0.1 is very, very small volume. And I think that might be the issue that we're seeing here, but it's still volume nonetheless. And it's a wider sentiment that I think we should all be kind of appreciating. And I'm sure, AJ, you'll be able to show us, what we're kind of looking at in terms of, has this really had an effect on the market? And, are we just dropping through crazy support levels? Or actually, are we finding some kind of support or bounce back?
Yeah, we're talking about support quickly. You can see here we are seeing, volume quickly. We are seeing a lot of volume at this moment in time. Well, last week we did see, immense volume. We hadn't seen sort of this type of this amount of volume since May 2021, and that's signaled a sort of a bottom vicinity for that's pullback in 2021, which came down to approximately 29,000. So when we got this massive spike in volume, it did signal that the bottom was very close. And then, we saw a few more weeks of downwards price action. Then we established a bottom, and then we saw price action towards the upside. Again, back in March 2020, lots and lots of volume that signaled a bottom. And there was also a lot of volume in December 2018 that also signaled a bottom for us. So seeing large amounts of volume as of right now is very good for us, because it just gives us more indication that a bottom is going to be in, the bottom is very close to say.
Yeah.
The bottom could already be in as of right now, but for me, and what I'm going to be showing you, there is still some more downside. Now, last week, so yesterday night, Sunday, we did in fact hold the previous all-time high back in 2017. So 2017, the all-time high was around $19,800 approximately. And yesterday we did close that candle. It was around, I think the exact price was $20,555 or something, if you zoom in closely, but around that area. We did, in fact, just close above that previous all-time high. That's good news that we are finding support along this white line here, which is the previous all-time high. That's bullish news in the short term that we are holding that level. But again, I do think there is going to be some more downside. The reason I think there's going to be more downside is because of this this pink line that you can see on the screen now, this CVDD. Every single cycle and every single bear market, this CVDD has predicted the bottom. So back in 2011, we found support on the pink line. Back in, when was this? 2015, we found the bottom there. Again, 2018, we found the bottom there. COVID, we came pretty close to it, but I'm not worried that didn't come down and test this CVDD, because that wasn't a bear market. That was just a pretty a catalytic event, a global catalytic event. So I'm not too worried that didn't touch there. But as of right now, it's currently sat at just under $15,500. It has increased only very slightly. And I will I will talk about our portfolio in a moment. But yeah, so $15,500, that's sort of where I'm thinking the bottom could be. And I do have some technicals on that as well. We have this head and shoulders pattern up here. This broke to the downside, and the technical target for it is down at approximately $15,000. So this is why I still think that $15,000 is a pretty realistic target for us, because of the CVDD predicting every single bear market bottom, and because we've got this technical pattern here, which is also lining up with this CVDD with that price target of $15,000. So right now we are seeing a slight relief bounce from that low at $17,600 approximately. We are up around 16.3%. I am expecting to see this relief rally, and maybe a little bit more of a relief rally, because we have seen so much price action towards the downside. You can literally see from March 2020, 2022, March this year, you can see how much we have just pulled back. And it has, from where we are now, it's a 55% pullback in price to just non-stop price pullback, non-stop price action towards the downside. So a relief rally, is something that I think we are in need for before we could potentially see more price action towards the downside. Now, where could this take us? Well, we have broken out of this 200 MA, which I've been talking about for a while, and every single bear market, we have actually found perfect support there. Now, that is a level that we are now going to use as resistance. So coming up to that level there, which is currently sat at approximately $22,500, and then seeing a rejection from there is something that I think could be pretty likely, and then that could take us down to the approximate $15,000 target. Now, zooming in a little bit, this is sort of going to give us a better understanding of where the price is going to go in the shorter term. Now, I am looking at this as a dead cat bounce potentially. Now, we have seen this previous dead cat bounce here where we came down, established the bottom, came back up to this level here, and then got a rejection from this level here, and then we saw the price come all the way down to that approximate $17,600 target. Now, is that what's going to happen now? Because we are at support here, well, previous support, which is now going to act as resistance. Now, what I'm expecting here is to either break above this resistance level here, which will then hopefully bring us up to that around $22,600 level. But if we don't get that break to the upside, then I think another dead cat bounce is in play, and that could take us down to $15,000 if we break this previous low here. So if we see a rejection from this resistance here, like we did up here, then there's a pretty high chance that we'll come down to this low that we established here. If we break that, then I think $15,000 is a very, very realistic target. So if we do see this rejection today, then I think in the immediate short term, there is a pretty high chance that we could come down to that $15,000 level pretty quickly. But if we do break this level here, I reckon we're going to come back up, test the support, this resistance level here. Then from there, we could either break to the upside or see a rejection. So that's sort
AJ,
of yeah.
Just quickly here, what's the current CVDD level? Where are we? What's the price?
Where we are sat. So we are currently sat at 15,000.
So that's the absolute lowest, right?
$500. Yes.
Where's the chart relative to the bottom? Just someone says on here, what's the current CVDD value? So they haven't specified which band it is, because obviously you have the lowest one, which is at 15. What's the orange one at? And then the blue one afterwards.
The orange one is the realized price, which is at $22,600. And then, so the realized price is also one which is a pretty good indicator to sort of signal the bottom as well, because you can see that previously, if I just zoom in, you can see that we have traded below this realized price. And that has signaled, a consolidation period and a great accumulation period. As of right now, if I just go back to where we are right now, we are just breaking below that level as of right now. So I am expecting a sort of longer period of consolidation here, most likely to the downside to that CVDD level at approximately $15,500 level. Theo, I hope that answered your question. It's $15,500. For me, that is the bottom, because every single bear market, the price has come down and tested the CVDD. Now, we do have to take into consideration that this CVDD does slightly move. I remember when I first mentioned it to all of you, it was sat at $15,300. So it does slightly change as the days go on, but only very slightly. And that sort of brings me to, I think I need to bring it onto my screen. That brings me to this. That brings me to this screen here, which is our portfolio. So right here is our portfolio. This is the $5,000 portfolio, and this one right here is the $500 portfolio. And we have hit some of our buy orders. Some of them were at, so we had our buy orders that have been hit that were at 20,000. We had 19,000 being hit as well, and 18,000 being hit. We also have buy orders at 17,000, 16,000, and 15,000. It was $15,400. I might need to change that, but I will show you if I do change that, because the CVDD has slightly increased. But yeah, lots of our buy orders have been hit on Ethereum as well. The $1,000 buy order was hit, and the $900 buy order was hit as well. And you can see that we started this account off with $5,000. As of right now, we are in some profit of $355. And on the smaller, the $500 account, we are in $52 profit. So we are in profit as of right now, but I'm not expecting it to stay in profit. I'm expecting it to come lower and, hit those other buy orders, which we do have set there as well. So I will be keeping you updated with that as well. We still have around, $1,700 in that we are waiting for the buy orders to be hit.
Because hopefully, once we do see, they say like a broken clock is right twice a day. Like a bad well, not even a bad trader, but like a trader looking for a specific price is going to be right twice in a cycle, because it will head down that way and it'll head back up. And, we don't mind catching it on the way down, but we also don't mind catching it on the way up, So hopefully if we do get triggered into these, then great, fantastic. We're in a trade that we like. But it's also good that we have some cash on the side, so that if we see, we're actually now, the trend has reversed and we know we're in an upward trend, we're just going to join everybody else and deposit that free cash, because obviously you can't make money from a market that you're not in. So that's kind of the key of having that cash on the side. Yes, we have some buy orders at even 16K, 15K. It might not get down there, but if it doesn't, best be sure that we're putting our cash in, once we know that the trend has been reversed.
Exactly. Yeah. If all our buy orders do not get hit, then we will pull them buy, and we get that confirmation that Bitcoin has found the bottom. Then we'll take them buy orders out, and then we'll put that money in when we get a break of a resistance. But I do expect $15,500 to be hit. So I'm still keeping those buy orders in there. Moving on to the dominance, we are getting that rejection from the dominance. I am still 75% of my portfolio into Bitcoin as of right now. I know that this relief bounce, the alts are doing a little bit better. If we just have a look from the bottom on Ethereum, I think it's around 30%. Yeah, just under 30%. And if we take a look at Bitcoin from the previous bottom we have established, I need to get the measuring tool out. We are up around 16%. So the alts are recovering a little bit better, but I'm not happy as of right now that Bitcoin has found that bottom yet. I'll be keeping you updated on this. If this does turn out to be a dead cat bounce, if we do see a rejection here, then I'll keep you updated on that, because then I'll expect the price to come down to around $18,000. And then if we break that, $15,000 is going to be my next target. Taking a look at Ethereum, we are finding that nice support as of right now. We're getting that bounce off this previous support level. When we did break this level here, we did come back and test it twice, find support there. So this is a very important support level as of right now. If we do break this level, then my next support level and my next price target for Ethereum is around $800. And we do have a buy order there for Ethereum. And previously, this has been some resistance, support, some more support and resistance. This is a big level that I'm looking at for Ethereum. And I do think, $800, there's a chance we can dip below that, but I think $800 is sort of where I'm looking at. $700-800 is where I'm looking at the bottom to be sort of for Ethereum. Moving on to Solana, we are getting a really nice bounce from Solana from this very, very important support level. You can see lots and lots of support previously here. We are getting that nice bounce as of right now. That's good for Solana. But if we do break this, if Bitcoin sees more price action towards the downside, we do break this, then my next level is between this $12 and $17 level. And if we break that, then, even more bad news at around $5 is the next level that I'm looking at, which is a previous high from August 2020. But I don't expect it to break this level here. This is going to be pretty strong support as well. Having a look at the NASDAQ just quickly, I mentioned this last week. We do need to wait for the traditional market to open, but this is what I'm looking at on the NASDAQ. This is actually a falling wedge, and we are actually finding support at the bottom as of right now. But as I said, we've got to wait and see what how the market reacts when it does open, the traditional market. But yeah, this is previous support, very, very strong support. So hopefully if we do see a nice bounce off of this support level on the NASDAQ, then we can see a nice relief bounce within the crypto markets as well. This could take us up to this resistance level here. We've seen lots of resistance up here as well. Then we could, potentially see that could potentially be that, that relief bounce that we are waiting for. And then we could potentially see a rejection from there, which, bring us down and then potentially bring Bitcoin down to our price target of, around $15,000, $15,500. But if we break to the upside of this, then that's, pretty bullish news. But I would want to break this lower high trends that we have formed for me to flip bullish on the traditional market and the crypto market as well. Bitcoin, for me to flip bullish as of right now, we need to break $47,000. But again, I've told you this multiple times, we can create another lower high, and then it gives us a lower price for us to have to break for me to consider Bitcoin being bullish again. Say we created another lower high, and that was at around $30,000, and then we saw a rejection there. We have that lower high. Then if we break that, then I would flip bullish because we're breaking this lower high trend, which is very, very bearish as of right now. But if we can break that trend, then I will flip bullish on Bitcoin. But for now, I'm still incredibly bearish. Waiting to see what happens on this 4-hour chart here. If we get a rejection, then I think, over the course of this week, I think there could be a lot more downside. But if we break above it and stay above this level, then I think, this week we're going to have that relief bounce, which will take us up to that this 200 MA, which I think is going to act as pretty strong resistance. So as of right now, we're just going to be waiting to see what happens on this chart. There is 3 hours and 25 minutes left of this candle. If we get a rejection here, then more downside for Bitcoin. But if we break above it, then I think more upside.
Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Well, guys, I'm going to quickly finish off. Mo, you asked a question here. Would you short SNX after its massive pump? So if you guys didn't know, SNX is actually synthetic token. And I believe that was the second largest holding of what we saw in 3 Arrows Capital. And I think that might have been why it's got such a pump, because of the publicity. To be honest, I haven't been keeping in touch with SNX synthetics. I know roughly what they do. They allow you to mint digital versions of real world assets, but also I think you can copy Bitcoin to a certain degree. Again, like I said, I'm not entirely sure. It's only because it's come up ad hoc that I'm talking about it. Happy to go away, look at it more. Volume is up over 1,000%, which is crazy. And then we see that the price is up nearly, 66%, which is absolutely insane. Yeah. Just want to give you kind of two different metrics. One is the sentiment. Let's have a little refresh. Bearish, thank me later, made $250. Best project, scam. Magic, really like it when coins recover. Market manipulation, price will drop. So look, this is one of the metrics. I do believe that a bit of market manipulation is not a crazy idea, because if you've got 3 Arrows Capital who are, insolvent, bleeding all of their money extremely fast, and essentially have no money, a bit of market manipulation to get their second highest holding up to a higher price to then dump it does sound like a good idea. So be careful with that. I do want to show you this. Currently, we're at kind of an area, not a level. I don't like to use the word level in crypto. I don't believe there's a specific price, but usually just an area. bit of resistance here, kind of bounced up off that, bit of support, and then a bit of support here. And so this was obviously back in late 2020. But now we're kind of looking at this, a bit of a break to the upside out of this downward trend that we see here. So probably a little bounce off of here. If it's market manipulation, I expect it to continue, just keep dropping. But if it's not, and it genuinely is a move to the upside because people are excited by it, they see 65%, they think I want to get involved, then obviously you end up with, I guess, like not the opposite of a short squeeze. Well, it is the opposite of a short squeeze. Like, is there a word for that, AJ? A long squeeze?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the thing. But, basically a self-fulfilling prophecy where everyone says, you know what, actually, I'm going to buy this because I think it's going to go up, because everyone else thinks it's going to go up. So it could then do that. But yeah, currently we're looking at that downward trend. We've broken above it. That's why there's a lot of movement to the upside, probably some orders triggered. But just bear in mind, this is the second largest holding of 3 Arrows Capital, which is about to go insolvent. So it kind of goes in their favor if the price goes up, so that they can begin scaling out of their positions in order to pay off the investors that they need to pay off. So keep that in mind. But I'm not going to say that's the only reason why this has gone up. But market manipulation is an interesting theory, is all I should say. Big boom stick. Love your name. That's quality. Dump it before we go back down. Appreciate the time, nonetheless. What's your thoughts on farm token, Harvest Finance? Let's come back to you on that simple technology. I don't have one immediately yet, but I will do. Always watching you guys. Thanks for everything. Amazing. Very good. Again, Cipriana, do you have an opinion? Altura, we need to go away and do some proper research on these, and then we can come back and kind of give you like a full answer. Because the thing is, like, we can jump on and we can do a small bit of technical analysis, say, look, here's the level of support, here's the level of resistance, which, to be honest, you guys can probably do yourself just by looking at previous numbers. But we want to do more than that. We want to find out why it is that it might be pumping. So let's go ahead and we'll do that later.
Take notes of them. We'll do them later.
So yeah, there you go. Shit always goes down, so take profits and buy the bottom. Yeah, big boomstick. That is the number one rule, but where is the bottom? That's $1 billion question straight up there, isn't it?
That's why you dollar cost average, and that's what I do personally, because you can never predict the bottom. $15,500 is where I think sort of the bottom vicinity is going to be, but I'm never going to be 100% right every single time. So by dollar cost averaging, from sort of $20,000 for me, dollar cost averaging from $20,000 is the best thing that you can be doing. And we've got all of those orders in. 19,000 that was hit, 18,000 that was hit, 17,000 was just missed, but came pretty close to that. And then we got 16,000 and then $15,500 approximately. So for me, that's the best way to sort of try and get as close to the bottom as you can. Because, as you said, you can never predict the bottom perfectly, but dollar cost averaging that enables you to get as close to the bottom as you can. And like we said earlier, having that little bit of cash reserve as well means that if it goes lower than you expected it to go, then you still have the opportunity to buy at an even cheaper price.
Yeah, that's all we want. Buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
I know it sounds extremely basic, but you can't buy low if you have no money, so kind of keep that in mind. But yes, Mo, do we trade full time? We do trade full time. I mean, ultimately. So trading is kind of our number one. That's our number one source of income. Pretty sure. Yeah, AJ, I know that's true for you and also for myself. And so, yes, we're in the markets every day. I focus more on the fundamentals, as you guys will have probably seen. Like, I love to find out about the Fed. Then this is what works really well, is that, yes, I know a bit about technical analysis and I can identify support, resistance, trends, whatever, but not as well as AJ. And that's why I leave a lot of this to him, because this is where, I would say for any trading strategy, I would argue that any one trading strategy doesn't work well unless you incorporate more elements around it. Because, in my opinion, where I make most of my money, and things are different depending on the strategy, I make most of my money on the big moves, which are done by news, because I understand the news quite well. But I know it's very easy to make, and I've got friends who do make money on those tiny moves because there are certain patterns forming.
Yeah.
So I look for kind of a combination of the two, where we're in a certain pattern, but there's a big news event coming. And then I like to kind of find out, well, if it goes this way, what's going to happen? If it goes this way, and then I place my orders accordingly.
Yeah.
And AJ, I know you're very technical focused and
Yeah.
obviously unbelievable at kind of identifying the patterns, arguably before anybody else can. And I think that's how you've been able to make your money, right?
Yeah, well, I'll try establish. I'll try and look sort of into the future and see what patterns can potentially be forming before they're formed. And yeah, recently I haven't been trading as much because we just have seen so much pressure towards the downside. We haven't actually sort of formed any sort of consolidation. Yes, on the on the much smaller time frames we have, but I prefer to trade on the 4, 8, and 12 hour. Once we do get a nice period of consolidation, then I can start bringing some trades to you. But for me personally, I haven't been even trading myself. So I've done the old one here and there, but it's just there's not much going on at the moment. So once we find sort of that bottom and we get lots of consolidation, then I'll start bringing to you lots of trades that I'll be doing with my own personal account as well.
And that's one thing, guys. We're going to finish up here, but that's the final lesson that I want everybody to take away is like, being able to not trade is arguably more powerful than being able to trade, because it's not, everyone thinks that trading is like, you're on if you've ever seen, it's called the open outcry trading, where there's the guys on the actual stock exchange floor shouting at each other on the phone, like, hey, buy me this, sell me this, whatever. It seems cool, but 80% of the time when you're trading, you're not actually doing anything. You're just kind of sitting around waiting for levels to be hit, waiting for your plan to kind of go out. So just, keep that in mind, guys. Trading is not actually a very sexy, thing. A lot of people like to think it is.
Yeah.
But it's, it's a lot of sitting around and kind of planning.
And that's all what we want to do. We want to do all that sitting around for you and then bring to you what we are actually doing when we are doing it. But as of right now, I am just sitting back away from sort of actually trading and waiting for some sort of consolidation to then act off that.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. Since there are no more comments, we're going to leave it there, and I'm going to bid you a very good day. Thank you for watching, as always.
Yeah.
Don't forget to smash the like button, and we will come back to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
Take care, guys. Trade safe and always use a stop loss.
Yeah.
All the best.